To find out where I buy my comic books, stay tuned. Hey YouTube, it's Matt here, and I'm going to be talking a lot about where I buy my comic books. Now, there's a lot of avenues in collecting, okay? You can, right here's the press, you can press comic books, you can slab comic books, you can collect runs, you can do all types of things with comic books, but at the end of the day, there is a part where you actually have to go and actually buy some comic books. Well, now, we know about the used comic book market, which is a secondary market. You know, there is eBay, and there's heritage auctions, there's Shortbox, there is all types of places to go and get comic books on the, on a used market. Well, and some of those used ones we'll talk about here a little bit, but I want to really talk about where to buy new comic books. And then I'll talk a little bit about alternate places to get the used comic books, if you will. But guys, the biggest one happens to be a local comic store or a local comic shop. A lot of collectors call it the LCS. In fact, there's sometimes we'll just throw out acronyms and then we just assume everyone knows what they are, like an LCS. Well, LCS it stands for something, local comic shop, and it is as the name applies. It's a comic book shop or store that is local to you, okay? But generally speaking, we call all brick and mortar comic book shops LCSs because, well, they might not be local where you live, but they're local to the people that live near. Now, some of those I have really close to me. In fact, I actually kind of luck out. I have probably a half a dozen of them within maybe a 50 minute drive from me. Now, my favorite actual local comic shop is Codex Comics in Ebensburg, Pennsylvania. This is a small store, and it's owned by a husband and wife duo, and I really like this shop mainly. Well, I really enjoy the owners. I think that they are great people. I like to say that I support them by shopping at their store. So that's one of those things. I'm just really appreciative of good, friendly people. A lot of places you go to, especially some of the bigger stores, well, they have so many customers, they don't have time to interact and talk. And I actually appreciate that about Ebensburg or Codex Comics in Ebensburg. Just good people. Now, I was also given a little bit of information that James Tynion IV was going to be at Codex Comics, and I was pretty excited about that because it's a pretty small shop, and to have access to such a big comic book star, that was a real treat for me. I was able to talk to James Tynion for honestly probably 2 or 3 minutes. I could have talked longer, but there were people behind me, and I didn't want to hold up the line forever. I did a YouTube video about that in summer of 2021. It's a great video if you guys ever want to go back and check that out. Now I have another one. This one has one of the best storefronts of any comic book shop I've ever seen. It is the Comic Vault, and this is in Altoona, Pennsylvania. This was another one that had a pretty cool signing in it that I went to see. It was Clayton Crane. I've done that many times. Clayton Crane was there at the Comic Vault again in summer of 2021. I was able to talk to him for a little bit, did a really nice video about that. But that's another shop that I really enjoy. The owner is a super nice guy. The atmosphere in the store is electric, to say the least. There's so many great slabbed CGC comic books. Or not just slabbed, obviously, but signed CGC comic books at the Comic Vault. Really enjoyed going there. Another one that I get to quite often in the town of Indiana, Pennsylvania. there's a town called Indiana. It's a state, but there's a town, Indiana, Pennsylvania. SCG Hobby. They have, by the name, they have a lot of hobby supplies in there, but they have a really big selection of comic books. Guys, their back order or back issues, I could spend hours in there just going through long boxes. And one of the premier comic book stores in my area is in Windber, Pennsylvania. It is called Comic World. Now, they do a lot of comic book shows, and if I'm looking for a key, that is a place to go look, okay? And they have so many gems, and their back issue catalog is massive at Comic World in Windber, Pennsylvania. Now, guys, I'm sure everybody in here who's watching this video, you have stores that are local to you. Those are just some of the ones that I actually shop at. Now, some of the other ones I do some shopping online. Now, one store that I've bought quite a few items from, and not just comics, sometimes just apparel. You know, like I'll wear a shirt or so, is Aegis Comics of Alaska. Now, they're fun people. They're very active. The owners are Lou and Amy. Very active on Instagram and YouTube. They have their own YouTube channel. Now, they're just good people. I really enjoy interacting with them. Like I said, online. We've never actually spoken in person. But just in messages on IG and YouTube videos. And just super good people. Have a really cool shop. They're my goodness, are they hard workers, you know, trying to put out a great product. Their store will have some store exclusive covers, which I think is pretty cool. For a small comic book shop to have exclusive covers, that's kind of a big deal if you ask me. Now, the comic book shop, the LCS, that's not local to me, that I do most of my shopping from, is one called G Mart Comics, okay? I've talked about them a long time. Whenever I first started buying from them, back in 2005, they only had one store. It was in Champaign, Illinois. Now they have a second store that is in Chicago, Illinois. They're just awesome people that I have never met one time. I've never stepped one foot into that store, but I've looked. I have spent a little bit more money than I like to admit over the years since 2005 with my pull list from that store. Now, what I like about them is they offer me a 35% discount on the books that I buy, but they also offer another service. The service is I want high-grade comic books. I don't want comic books that have spine ticks. I don't want comic books that are damaged. So, for a 10% fee, now this is going to knock that 35% down to 25% discount, they will look and inspect books before they ship them off to me. But they do not only inspect the books, they will even bag and board those same books for a tiny fee. It's actually pretty small for me, and I really like that. And to top it all off, once my order gets to a certain dollar amount, they ship the books to my house for free. Remember I said I've never actually stepped foot into them? Well, guys, I actually have a box here, okay? I have never once in 17 years received a damaged book from G Mart Comics. They ship it immaculate, and I'm going to show you something. This was not from them. This dent was from our good friends at United States Postal Service, okay, which we know are the best friends to comic book collectors. Well, guys, I am super confident that the books inside of here are going to come out damage-free. So we're going to do a little bit of a unboxing here, and I'm going to do it off camera, but I'm going to come right back and show you the shape that the comic books are still in. All right, so right here, you can see post office. I don't know what kind of sport they were playing with this, but there is that dent. But watch what happens. They have, in the inside board right here, or the inside of the box, it's kind of protected. I'm going to flip this down they have another layer of cardboard protection. My books are right here. The actual book itself, there is absolutely zero damage on this bag and board. Or, yeah, well, you see what I'm talking about. The board in the bag. Now, this was the comics that I ordered for that individual week. What they do is they put a whole bundle together, whatever I ordered that week, and then they'll put them in another bag to secure them. A bag that doesn't have a board. So these are all bagged and boarded. And so I will literally go months. That's a really dope cover. I really like that book. But I will go months without actually walking into a local comic shop because I'm having my books shipped right to my house from Gmart Comics. Now, there's another store online that I have bought comics from, okay? This guy, Frank, okay? Super cool guy. He's a former United States Marine. And some of you guys know that I was in the military. Love our Marines. Love all of our military. But Frank owns a comic shop. You can find it on Instagram and online. It is Coffee and a Comic, okay? Really cool store. Frank's a good guy. He did a Instagram live, okay? And we're on that live. He was showing some books that were coming in that week and some books that he had for sale. And in there, he had the Captain America Iron Man #1. All right. I absolutely just thought this was so cool. Loved this book. But there was a 1 in 25 Alex Ross cover variant that just I thought was gorgeous. Okay. Captain America Iron Man #1. Now, these books, they come bagged and boarded. And he even put on his little logo right there. So give Frank a chance for a follow. And yeah, look for his shop on Instagram. But not only that, he sent me a bag of coffee. Which, if you know me in my personal life, you know that I am a coffee drinker. Some people just think that coffee cup is just a part of me at all times, like part of my uniform. So he sent coffee here. Also, a really cool Marine Corps sticker that I think is going to have to go on the comic book cabinet in the back here. So, coffee and a comic. So, you can go to an LCS. You can go online store. You can do the eBay route. And you can just order or buy comic books off of friends. Guys, there's so many other ways of finding comic books other than the ones that I talked about. But, guys, that's how I get a lot of my comic books. Alright guys, I hope you learned a little bit about buying comic books. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up, put a comment down below, and hit that subscription button. I want to thank everybody for watching, and you have a great day.